Fermentation. Produce and market food products through fermentation. Introduction. Fermentation is the incomplete breakdown of glucose in conditions of limited oxygen or without oxygen. Fermentation is different from anaerobic respiration in its metabolic pathway after the glycolysis stage. After glycolysis, the pyruvate produced will undergo either alcohol fermentation or lactic acid fermentation. In alcohol fermentation, glucose breaks down into ethanol, carbon dioxide, and energy. Ethanol is used in the making of beer and wine. The released carbon dioxide makes bread dough rise. For plants, paddy plants that grow in waterlogged areas with less oxygen are able to carry out alcohol fermentation. Ethanol produced in the tissues during the fermentation process is toxic to most plants, but for paddy plants, each have higher tolerance for ethanol compared to other species, so that paddy plants produce plenty of alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme that can break down ethanol molecules into non-toxic carbon dioxide. Objectives. The purpose of fermentation is to regenerate the electron carriers used in glycolysis and produce a small amount of adenosine triphosphate (ATP). In this project, yeast not only leavens dough and gives a light sponge-like texture, but it also provides flavor, aroma, and contributes to the nutritional value of bread. As for conclusion, yeast, a tiny single-celled microorganism, a type of fungus, is an example of a biological raising agent. Yeast is used to make bread dough. During bread making, the dough is left in a warm place or under the sun. The warmth causes fermentation to take place. However, if the temperature is too high, for instance, the yeast will be killed during the cooking process. During fermentation, carbon dioxide is produced and traps tiny pockets of air within the dough, causing it to rise. During steaming, the carbon dioxide expands and causes the bread to rise faster. The alcohol produced during fermentation evaporates during the bread baking process. Thank you for listening my explanation. So here the process of making pulp black bean, which the example of product food through fermentation.
The ingredients needed are flour, water, sugar, black bean, yeast, and salt. You want to begin by adding a cup of water and flour and mix it up. After that, add yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, 5 teaspoons of sugar, and a bit of water, and then stir it up. After that, knead the dough with your hands. If it's sticky, you can put some flour into the dough. You can also put a bit of oil to make it less sticky. And then let it rest for about 35 minutes. In this period, you will see the dough will start to rise and it will double its size. And then separate the dough into 6 dough balls. Go ahead, stuff each one through black beans. And make sure to pinch them close tightly because you don't want the black beans to ooze out when you bake them. After that, let the dough ball steam about 30 minutes with the medium-high heat. So this is the result.